Our first speaker is all the way from Hawaii, the United States of America, and he has been a Toastmaster for a very long time. So without much ado, he will speak about voices of leadership. And with great pleasure, may I invite Ching to come on stage to speak about voices in leadership.
I'm so excited to be here. This is my first visit to your country. And your country is beautiful. Let me tell you, I joined Toastmasters in 1974. By show of hands, how many of you were not here in 1974? Oh my gosh. You know, Toastmasters in 1974 was not like what we have today. In 1974, there was no Facebook. Facebook wasn't around in 1974. We didn't have such thing as online club. We didn't have internet. We had to mail our applications. And you know what? There was even no Toastmasters website. We had to get the paper reports. You remember the old days? That's how it was. The world today has changed a lot. I grew up in the banking industry. I was a management trainee at the Bank of Hawaii, and they said, if you want to get anywhere, you better join Toastmasters. I don't know what it was, but I joined. And I was so excited. My first meeting, I won the icebreaker, I won the trophy, and I took it back to my branch, and I was so proud of myself. And that was my first experience at Toastmasters. Over the next 44 years, I learned a lot about Toastmasters. I learned a lot about communication, and I learned how I could apply that to my life and get people to do what I want. Let me explain a little things. You know, when I first came to this hotel, I came in at Thursday, 1:30 in the morning. I came here and naturally the hotel not gonna let me in. So, being from Hawaii, I gave the front desk a box of chocolate-covered macadamia nuts. Oh, that's my trick, you know. I brought about 30 boxes with me, and every place I go. So I gave it to them, and then they said, well, you come in early, we might have to charge you for another room. However, we may have a room available after 12 o'clock. So I sat around and I waited, and you know what? I praised the girl. Oh, you guys are so pretty. Good. You know, that's how like what we learn in Toastmasters with the ribbon and all of that. People love that recognition. And I said, oh, you guys are so nice. I love this hotel. Beautiful hotel. You know what? At 9 o'clock, they let me check in. Establish rapport is so easy when you know how to communicate. I tell a taxi driver, oh, you're the best taxi driver in town. Oh, he eats it up. I go all over the restaurant. When I'm in the hotel, I tell the manager, oh, your workers are great. Toastmaster teaches us these communication skills, but don't let it stop at the club level. You learn how to eye contact, gestures, voice, and everything. These are valuable in creating rapport. Now let me demonstrate what I mean when you use eye contact, voice, to connect with the audience. You know, a lot of times in Toastmasters, we read our speech, right? You know, so many guys, the speaker, and they're looking at the iPhone and reading their speech from the iPhone. If you want to be effective, get rid of all of that and memorize it. And here, let me demonstrate. I have a favorite poem, and this poem tells me why we do what we do. And it goes like this. How many of you hear people complain? Yeah? People complain all the time. What this poem is entitled, God Forgive Me When I Whine. And it goes like this. Today, now watch me now. I'm going to make eye contact with everybody in the room. Okay? I'm going to connect with each of you. And it goes like this. Today upon a bus I saw a lovely girl with golden hair. I envied her. She seemed so happy. I wished I were as fair. When suddenly she rose to leave, I watched her hobble down the aisle. She had one leg and wore a crutch, but as she passed a smile. I stopped to buy some candy. The lad who waited on me had such charm. We talked a while. He seemed so glad. If I were late, it would do no harm. And as I turned to leave, he said, thank you, you've been so kind. It's nice to talk with folks like you. You see, he said, I'm blind. Later, walking down the street, I saw a child with eyes of blue. He stood and watched the other children play. He didn't seem to know what to do. I paused a while and I said, why don't you join the others, dear? Without a word, he looked ahead. And then I knew he couldn't hear. With legs to take me where I go, and eyes to see the sunset glow, and ears to hear what I should know, forgive me, God, when I whine. I'm blessed indeed. This world is mine. You like that? That's what Toastmasters has taught me. It has taught me how to create speeches. It taught me how to deliver, pause, and everything. All that we learn in our clubs. That all translates to the business world. When I first became a manager of my department, my manager is speaking at a different level than the employees. The department had about 45 tellers, and this manager thought he was like a coach. So every morning he got the whole staff together, and they had to do a cheer. And it went something like this. And all the tellers had to cheer like a cheerleader. Smile all day, smile all night. Customer is always right. Greet them too, don't be blue. Someday they're going to come back and rob you. Use their name just the same. Let's show them this is not a game. And finally, folks, let's make it clear and thank those folks for coming here. The tellers hated that cheer. You think that cheer was going to make them smile? No. But management loved it. Management would come down and watch the tellers cheer, and they felt like fools. When I took over that department, the cheer went out the window. I used my Toastmasters skills to recognize the employees and show them that I care. When a teller balanced for the month, I bought a little trophy and say, this is your perfect month. And at the staff meeting, I gave it to them, and they were happy. On their birthdays, I bought them Malay, and I gave it to them and recognized them. They knew, and one other thing too, so that I could communicate with them, every day I would pull one teller off the line and have breakfast with the manager. I sat and I told him, talk about whatever you want to talk about. You hate my guts, whatever. But we talk, and they love it. And that's how I got that rapport with my staff. All of you can do that. what we learned in Toastmasters, it taught me how to calm down customers that are mad at me. Customers coming yelling, "This stupid Bank of Hawaii." I said, I can see where you're coming from. And I can calm them down and turn a bad situation to good. That's what what we learn, so much applies. Look at America right now. We have a president that's shooting his mouth off and he don't know how to communicate. He's okay, but his problem is he has a lot of good intentions, but President Trump does not know how to communicate. That's what our organization does. Let me leave you with another poem I like, and it goes like this. Why can't every day be like Christmas? Why can't love be in the air? It takes such a little remembrance to show somebody we care. Why is it only at Christmas that gifts to others we bring? If every day we'd remember, we could make somebody's heart sing. For the same star that's shown at Christmas shines each day in a bright new way. Just tell somebody you love them, and Christmas will be every day. You're like, I have all of my poems on a file, and I put it on a CD, and I only got 4. Who wants one? Oh! Wait. I'll make more, okay?
Thank you.
No. Wait, okay. I'll see that everyone. Later, okay? Later. See me after, okay? And then we'll talk more, okay? Thank you so much, Malaysia. And I hope that you invite me back.
Our next speaker is Mohd Syairoz, and his topic will be on leadership. He's a community leader, both for international and local NGOs. Syairoz.
Obviously, that's not me. He has more hair. That's Jim. I work with him in an organization back in Ipoh, where my hometown is. Jim helps me a lot in handling hometown. We do project, homestay with tourists coming from all over the world. So Jim, thank you for lending your picture. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I strongly believe that when we care about others, when we allow them to be who they are and to dream more and allow them to learn, give them the chance, give them to be who they want to be, give them to do more what they inspire, rather than think about us, rather than I think about myself. I give the team, the committee members, the EXCO members. And it makes me a great leader because we embrace the rest of the team. We do not, at any point of time, put our self-interest more compared to the rest. These are some of the activities which I am involved with. In this corporate responsibility, I'm working with the Berjaya group. Thank you, Berjaya, for helping out. Starbucks, ada, Umova, for this all. In corporate responsibility, I deal with a lot of different age group, older than me. I'm 41. And how we manage different people with different age group, how we tolerate and understand them better. And in student recreation, I'm involved with many of schools in Kuala Lumpur and around Malaysia, helping them to improve in their sporting activities. And then in community tourism, this is my father there. As I mentioned earlier, organizing homestays for tourists coming from all over the world, staying in villages and kampung in Malaysia. I deal with a lot of villages. I deal with a lot of tourist operators, and how to manage these people and this youth development. Many a times, dealing with principal of schools, residential school, daily school, sekolah harian, and helping to coach students to improve on their public speaking skill requires certain kind of rapport with the school and teachers so that they can believe in our organization that can help the students. And last but not least, in the International Organization of Book Towns, where in 2011 I was the world president, 30 over book towns all over the world, where we promote second-hand books trading all over the world. And as you can see, these people are coming from all nations, and we meet at airports. We do not, our head office is in Belgium, but it's quite difficult to meet, unlike we have online meetings, but we meet in airports. So we have to understand, coming from Malaysia, the only non-European country to become a member of this book town, I have to manage and gauge how do we represent ourselves, how do we position ourselves as a leader. And these are some of the things which I strongly believe which had made some decisions possible, winning hearts and minds. Avoid arguments. In any organization, let it be the club president or let it be in your home or in your office, avoid argument, for goodness sake. If we are always in the midst of finding faults of others, it doesn't make us a good leader. I'm going to be simple and straightforward in my perspective here, whereby if we are able to avoid this, it's very simple. Most of the time, leaders find it very difficult to say, want to stress that they are right, they are always right, and we tend to forget about the opinion of others. Show respect, please, to the opinion of others. That's how I get my things done, and I'm sure many of you will be able to do that. Show respect to the others. We value their opinions and their ideas. Very simple, and people like to have meetings with me, and people enjoy organizing programs with me because we show respect to their opinions. We give them room to give their suggestions, yeah? And if you're wrong, admit it quickly. There's no harm of admitting your fault. If you have made certain wrong decision, quickly admit that. I find it very fruitful because people tend to see that we are honest and we are sincere. So I admit quickly. Then, allow others to talk. Yes, we are Toastmasters, we talk a lot compared to the rest. If many of my committee members of my organization are non-Toastmasters, usually I speak a lot those days. But now, I remember, as a leader, we talk less. We allow. If we have meetings and meetings and meetings, we give the opportunity to the rest to speak more compared to us, who's chairing the meeting. And let others feel it's their idea. When we give the chance for the rest of the team to understand and believe that it's their idea, they will work for it. They will try their level best to make sure whatever suggestions they give, they will pull through and they will make it happen. If, as a leader, most of the time, it's my idea, I do that, my idea, I do this, my idea. So people will not, oh, your idea, you do. Malaysian. Your idea, you do. So as leaders, when we value ideas, we give them, oh, it's a good idea. Why not you try? I support you. Okay. Kan susah. And then, we speak softly. As leaders, please do not be harsh. Hey, apa ni? Sorry, mana Hawaiian tu? Apa ni Malaysian lah. So, as leader, we speak softly. In meetings, in organizations, we don't be harsh with our team members. These are the little few exco that we have that we're going to help the club president to do their job. So speak softly lah. Don't be angry at our team members. When you speak softly, and they feel that they are calm and comfortable to work with us. Our tenure as the club president or chairman of a program is a long time, so we need their support and encouragement. We speak nicely to them, they'll be all right. And we smile appropriately, last but not least. I believe when we smile, people are more relaxed and calm. And we have meetings when we chair any organization, let it be international organization or local organizations. When I smile, people tend to be more relaxed. Try. They relax. You smile more and people feel comfortable and then they know, oh, this guy is cool. So there's no hard feelings and they feel relaxed and enjoying the meeting session regardless, it may take 2 hours. Well, as this saying goes, work hard in silence, let your success be the noise. Sometimes people like to shout, it's because of my leadership that I make sure the club is very successful. It's because of my leadership that we achieve this trophy. This is my leadership that we got, oh, self-proclamation. We claim that it's all our success. We don't have to shout. We do our job. Let the success be the noise. Most of the time, many of us would like to shout because of our effort, because of our effort, because of our effort, because of our team effort. No, let the result show. Tonight or tomorrow night, people will be on stage receiving a lot of trophies and awards. And maybe I also. But let the result show. We don't have to shout that I did that, I did that. Well, the result shows. Thank you, Lion. And there is this distinguished feature I would like to highlight about confidence and grandiosity. First, about confidence. Oh no, I'll start with grandiosity first. It's unrealistic self-inflation. We always self-inflate ourselves. Yeah, I think I inflate more than most of you. I'm very inflatable. Inflated. Yeah. Thanks, Moses. Very observant. Yeah. Because who you are and what you can do, you tell too much to others. Yeah, people say you must show off, to show that you are confident, you are able to do that. But then, a person who is like that, being too meticulous, being too detailed, you cannot accept anything else but success. Then it's very difficult. You cannot tolerate some little failures, some challenges. Oh, cannot. Everything must be perfect, everything must be perfect. Then it will be very difficult. The team is not perfect too. As a leader, we cannot always expect successful features in organizing conferences and seminars. If we are able to do certain things, we must accept that. And it will be very difficult to us if we are having this attitude of grandiosity. If we have setbacks and failures, we cannot tolerate. It's very difficult for us to receive that. And about confidence, as a leader, we know there is no certainty to be succeed. Yeah, sometimes we can be successful organizing a conference, sometimes the hall is full, sometimes not full. Sometimes people register early, sometimes people want their money back. It's very difficult. I understand, Victor. But then, you understand that you will do your best. When you know there is no certainty, you will try and you will strive to doing your best. If you're so certain and you're so meticulous, you have no room and space to allow for uncertainty to happen. So be relaxed and accept situation, be flexible. And your ability to recognize limitation. When you are able to recognize that, you know there are people that can help you around. Yeah? And last but not least, I would like to just highlight this about self-sabotage. Many of us didn't realize, or some do, but pretend not to. We always like to show strength all the time. Yes, a leader must show that they are powerful. But then, you must not always do that to show that you are so strong and powerful, because people tend to be afraid and to run away from you as a leader. Try not to be so boastful. When I'm not so boastful, I tend to get people to be supportive, and people would like to come, people would like to listen, and people would like to work with me. Don't self-sabotage yourself. And don't always lead. Let others lead. You are appointed as leader, get a team with you. Don't always do it yourself. You can't do everything yourself. You can't arrange this hall by yourself. You cannot arrange make decorations by yourself. You need the entire team to work with you. So you need this kind of support. And to be keen of pleasing others is also element of self-sabotage. like to please this person, like to please this person, like to please this person. At the end of the day, you cannot attain whatever your objective or task being given. I'm sure many of you agree with that. Many of you are also keen pleaser. So better not to do that. I last time used to be that, but then I learned the bad and side effects of being a keen pleaser. Yeah? And lastly, desire to praise. If we do anything, we like people to give us a pat on the back. Oh, congratulations, well done, bagus, hebat, all that. Sometimes people recognize, people don't recognize. If we work for being praised, then we don't do work. People sometimes praise, people say thank you, sometimes people don't say thank you. Isn't it true? But we still do our work. As a leader, if we keep on working just because we need a certificate of appreciation, just because we need a trophy, just because we need a medal, just because we're being recognized on stage, then we become a leader, too bad. That's self-sabotage. Leaders don't self-sabotage. Sometimes people sabotage leaders, but don't do it yourself. Let others sabotage you, maybe, but don't do self-sabotaging. These are the things. Don't self-sabotage. If you self-sabotage, then there's no room for you to become a great leader. Well, ladies and gentlemen, all of us are communicators, but in communicating, try to have this optimism. Sometimes leaders, your team members, friends, give suggestion. Oh, cannot, difficult, no budget. No, cannot, no budget, no time. The room, hotel full already. I cannot. Oh, leader cannot be like that. You must be optimism. If you have this element of negative, this is very difficult. People tend to, very difficult to work with him. So leaders try to be optimists, yeah? And use simple words. Yeah, again, as communicator or Toastmasters, we tend to see ourselves as good communicator. But then, when we use too many bombastic words, difficult words, and people cannot understand what we're trying to say, how can people work with us? Use simple words lah. Like 57 years ago in 1961, John F. Kennedy asked not what your country can do for you, ask what can you do for your country. Until today, coming PRU, so people using this tagline. Same, 57 years ago. Because he used same, very simple words. These are the kind of words being chosen by leader. And it's not only about giving speeches, but how our result and attribute shows. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for your attention. That's my little experience that I would like to share with you. I believe that when you are sincere, when you do things with passion, our action speaks louder than the word. Thank you very much. Back to you.
Thank you. But I'll ask the third speaker to speak to you for 10 minutes on his style of leadership, which is called Lead with Influence. May I present to you Srinivas, DTM.
Can I have a round of applause again? You see, coming on a stage after the person who was 44 years as a Toastmaster, and a second speaker who is exactly of my age of 41 years, you feel you have not much to share. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Sri, and I come from a land, incredible India. Namaste. My journey in Toastmasters started in February 2015 when I became a member of this club called Mohd, Toastmasters Club. You should visit us, it's Mohd. And today's what I'm going to share, I've divided into a similar way of M-A-D, Mohd. How many of you played or know chess? Chess, you know the game chess? Okay, 60-70% of you. Okay, that's good enough. In this game of chess, we have the high-powered people, the king and the queen and the bishop and the knight, and we have 8 pawns. That makes 16 people on your team. 16 people, exactly double of your club officers. And I have learned from chess about leading with influence. When I became a member, my only reason was speak and speak. Because only in Toastmasters, you get free audience every week. And they don't complain, they give you feedback. Free. And I was like, nice. Because remember that I come from India. We are born to talk. I just had to learn how to stop and make sense when I'm talking. In about few months, I was doing my speeches every other meeting. I was excited about it. And then my VPE had a trouble, health issue. And she asked me, can you be the VPE? It's about 4 months after I became a member. I said, fine, what do I do? So then the journey started of becoming a VPA. Do you know what is the biggest challenge of a VPE? Biggest challenge, just shout from wherever you are. Finding a GE, correct, and getting members to speak, getting role players. Guess what? I don't know many of the members, and I definitely not know many Toastmasters because in those 4 months, I didn't step out of my club. That made it harder. But I remembered things which I learned as a kid from chess, which worked well all these 3 years in my journey as a Toastmaster, and even before that in my personal and professional life. One of the things I learned in a game of chess that you move together. In chess, there is only one mission, and all are one vision. Very simple. It's just one word, checkmate. All the 16 pieces, all their objective is that walk together, attack the king, and help each other to get checkmate. That's it. Get it done somehow. And what I learned is that they all are very clear in their direction. And as a leader, the one who's playing the game, he knows the abilities of each and every piece. He knows the drawbacks, or we call pros and cons, of every piece. He knows what a queen can do. Now, don't ask me why the queen is the most powerful piece in the chessboard. Not the king. I do not know that. But after getting married, I was very clear about it. However, king is the most important because he dies, game over. That's the whole game about it. Now, I learned that in these all pieces, they work together, and the person who's playing the game works. So I learned that in my club, in my group of people, there are people who are amazing abilities. There are some people who are so good online. Trust me, they are better than my VPPR sometimes. They post more often. Literally, their status post every time when Facebook says, what do you think, they post it? You know. And I have to learn that, use that ability for a better usage. There are people who are so good with connecting, networking. They are amazing. And I have to help them to connect and bring the role players because I wasn't that effective. Because I realized that each of them have the potential, and we all moved together. In about few months later, I was asked to be area director. When I joined the council, I wasn't very clear of a role of an area director. All I knew it's a slightly bigger scope. It's more than a club, it's few clubs. And I had to learn. And I know that one of my co-area director is sitting in this room, Keng Lan, and we joined him and said, okay, let's work together. And we learned along the way. And this helped because we were together to achieve what we wanted to. The next thing was achieve their goals. In a chess, there is one thing very amazing. You can start as a pawn, but as you move towards the end, and if you don't get killed for some reason, and you reach the other end, you can become a queen, or a bishop, or a knight, and the person can decide that. Which means that you start as a pawn, you might end up being a queen. That makes the game really interesting. And I realized that exactly happens in our lives. When people join our teams, if you inspire them, influence them, teach them, guide them, they may start as a pawn, but they might become great. And I had the blessing and the privilege of working with those wonderful people who believed in me. Because when I started Toastmasters journey, I started as a pawn. Okay, not literally. Literally, I don't look like a pawn, but in Toastmaster, I was a pawn. In many other things I was, in communication, in leadership, many other aspects of. But I know that when I became a division director about a year later, my team had 4 area directors, all of them qualified, experienced, longer in Toastmasters, had done many roles, more than me. But what we did was, we helped one another from pawn, because in all of us, there is a pawn. In each one of us, there is a queen. And that's what a great leader does. That you take the pawn out, and you convert the person to be the strongest person according to their own abilities. And the third thing, delegation. Because I realized, and Syairoz touched on it, delegation is something I realized after burning out. You know, when you start to bring friends and everything, and you organize events, you get help, after a while you realize that you are abusing your friendship. Like, bro, can you be a GE? I was a GE 2 weeks ago. Last minute. Bro, can you be this? Can you help me out in this? And you realize that your club members see the same face every month. You're like, same people come in. Because then you feel that I am over-abusing or overusing the thing, because we haven't delegated. And in chess, we learn to delegate. The king sits. He just moves one step, left or right, only when it is necessary. And the player knows that. He knows that when I should delegate to the queen, when I should get the use of pawn, when it's a turn for a knight or a bishop to move. Because they all were clear about their vision and their mission. So when he delegates, it doesn't make them stronger, he utilizes their abilities. And that's what I've learned in Toastmasters about delegation. And you know what? After delegation, life is fun. Literally, it is much more inspiring, much more encouraging, because when you delegate, somebody believes that I can be trusted. Somebody thinks that. When I walked into this room, there are few people. Waikiki is there, and he told me, and I remember Daryl, and they told me, bro, I'm just here for you because I saw your name. I said, I'll mention your names. And sometimes it's just the trust which makes us feel like great. Because when you delegate, I repeat, when we delegate, not dump off the responsibility. We tell them, I trust you, you can do better or more than your abilities. And the person tries their best. And when we trust them, it creates a special bond between us and them. We may start as a club officer or a leader for that small group. But after 1 year, we end up as friends. We end up as buddies. And that's what I enjoyed in my 3 years of Toastmasters journey. Whichever team I had, from a club to an area to a division, whatever event I did, we always started as strangers, sometimes just friends, but then we all ended up as buddies. Because leaders know that that's what takes it. Your responsibilities may or may not stay with you all your life. Your friendship stays. And this conference is an example of it, where people flew from many countries because they trust the friendship and they value it. So ladies and gentlemen, be mad. Move together. Achieve people's goals. And finally, delegate. When you're mad, you are able to lead with influence. You touch the lives of people. Back to you.
Thank you. Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, you had 3 fantastic speeches about leadership, voices of leadership, not about me, and of course, lead with influence.
Thank you. Clarence, just to clarify, I am from India, but I'm living in Malaysia for about 14 years. So it's 50-50. Yes, we all start as pawns. One of the things I learned about after some time in Toastmasters is called Members' Interest Survey. It is amazing, actually. It literally tells people, what are you made up of, why are you here, and what you want to do. I know during COTs, people are reminded to use that, but I've tried it with a new member. And that gives a clarification to the member what he wants. For example, when I came, my initial reason was just to speak. But I got somehow pulled into leadership part there. Now, I was a pawn, but somebody made me, can't say queen, but abilities of something close, one of the better levels than a pawn. And the best thing is that getting together with the mentee, when you have a mentor, and say, what do they want? Some of them want to live as a pawn, which is not a bad thing. Because even as a pawn, they can kill the king. And in chess, one thing we learned that even a pawn is placed correctly can be the most important piece of the game. And sometimes with their small abilities, with their limited schedules and all, you can make the best use of them. Because in technology, we know distractions and busy life and all. We just go according to their interest and lead them based on where they want to go. But as a leader, we guide them till there. Does that answer your question? Right. Thank you. You want to add?
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Patricia from Berjaya, Waikiki, and my question is directed to all the SC3 speakers. We all know in Toastmasters we have 4 very important core values. I'm very greedy. I would like to have the number 5 core values, and I would love to have each of the speakers to share with me in your leadership journey what would be the number 5 core value as a leader.
Would you like to tell us the 4 core values?
Yes, the 4 core value is integrity, respect, service, and excellence.
Okay, got that. The 5th core value.
Raf says Madly will be angry if I add one more word to the core values. Was he involved in the core values? Anyhow, to me, Pat, Patricia, it will be membership. Again, as a leader, you won't be a leader without any members. You cannot be a leader without any follower. So, if membership is not there, when you don't value members, and then there is no value in your organization. A leader can stand tall, a leader can be sharp, a leader can be brilliant, a leader can be excellent, a leader has all the element of integrity. But when a leader stands alone and he looks at an empty hall, he is not a leader. When a leader wins election and when he has no voters, then he's not a leader. When a leader comes here and deliver a speech or give a remark to an empty hall, who does he speak to? Regardless, to the smallest level, from the village to the city to the town to even to the country. If a leader do not have followers who believe in him, and coming back to our Toastmaster, if we do not have members in the club, if we do not cherish the members in our club, we do not take care of members in our club, we do not make sure that they are the pillar of the club, and we might not be able to call ourselves as leaders as well. Thank you, Pat.
I like your question. And with this organization, what core value we need to really look at is caring. We're a caring organization. And a lot of times, you hear that people don't care how much you know. They want to know how much you care. And we owe it to our club members and to our communities to show that Toastmasters do care, whether it's helping with a food drive or donating our time to help students in the speech contest. We need to set the example to let the world know that this is not a speech organization, but it's a caring organization. We care about helping the homeless. We can be a great force if we practice caring. And in our clubs, somebody didn't come to the meeting, call them up. When we get a new member, send them an email and let them know how much you appreciate they're part of your group. Don't treat our members like numbers. Treat them like people and show them that we care. And to show you how much I care, all of you that didn't get my CD, give me your address later and I'll mail it to you free of charge.
Patricia, in my humble opinion, I would say humility. The reason I would say, because when we are given titles in Toastmasters or wherever, it is sometimes goes in our minds, in our heads, and it stays there. When we are becoming a best speaker or we win a contest, something like that, sometimes the feeling of the pride, it goes up so much that we forget the most essence of it. And I felt humility is something which every Toastmaster can carry, they do carry. And I value that one a lot more because we have seen people who are humble leaders who are much more powerful than people who are in the positions and stronger and with titles. So humility would be something I believe in. Thank you.
I would like to admit my mistake just now. Membership cannot be a core value. See, I put in my slide, admit mistake. I agree with, apa nama Hawaiian? Greg. My mistake. Greg, care. So, I rephrase. Leader macam ni lah. They have to admit. Mistake, I wrongly interpret that question. Excited to answer. I'm showing all the example. So, it's not membership. It's about care to the member. Thank you, sir, for enlightening. All right.
Okay, it works now.
Thank you. All right. Moses Wong from Mid Valley Toastmasters Club. How do you escalate ordinary club members to the level of district leadership? Thank you. How do you encourage them to serve as leaders and look beyond their own little world within the club?
He said I start first. So I listen. I got inspired because I saw people who were very nice and wonderful and they were sacrificial. And I felt their example inspired me. When they spoke, they didn't speak like Toastmasters was a burden to them. And I felt that inspired me. So if we have leaders like that who live that, Toastmasters is not a burden. It's a sacrifice. I know that it's a sacrifice because I've been through that small journey, and it took sacrifice because of traveling and a lot of other things. But I've seen people who didn't complain. And they've been here for decades. And I look at them and I'm, sir, impressed, inspired. And when they go up and up, I'm like, yes, I want to be like that one day because I respect the person and the sacrifices and they inspire me. So I felt that if somebody is a great example and they are sincere about it and they go for all the 4 values, automatically the people start following them. That's what I believe. Does that be okay? Thank you.
If I may add, I would like to give a real example. I started my journey 4 years ago in Toastmasters. Question from Moses is that, how do we escalate ordinary members? People like Jeff Andrews, Grace Chan, Andrew Tan, who helped born Berjaya Toastmasters Club, where I'm from. They were people who are very passionate and very dedicated to the club. They were with me. Jeff Andrews, Grace, Andrew Tan last time when we were born, and Ismail Omar. So these are the people who helped. When I was in conferences, when you guys are in conferences, they were people with me sitting next to me. Telling me what is this DCM, DCEM, I don't know what is all that about. I was the first club president. First time I went to Langkawi looking forward, not for the conference, it's because of Dana Jaya Hetriyachi. But Jeff Andrews was sitting next to me, telling me step by step what happened. And from there on, I became immediate past president. Then later on, I become area director. Step by step, I now try to serve back my club as the club VPPR. And now, I'm given the opportunity by Kevin to become a mentor of a club. So these are people who are very passionate about helping and guiding. So as for myself, today, one of the members there, a member of Human Cap Articulators Club, who came. They just formed this club a few months ago. I emulated what Jeff Andrew and Kevin and Grace and Andrew Tan, I sat with them, showed them. That was how I was mentored by these distinguished Toastmasters. We follow this example. Now it's my turn. It's me now to sit next to these new babies of Toastmasters. They are just born. So it's for me now to follow the footsteps shown by Jeff Andrews, Grace, Kevin, and Andrew Tan. Last time they were with me. So now, today, just now, I was sitting next to them, show them how to enter, where to register, what to vote, not who to vote, but gives them some ideas. So this was how, not Jeff Andrews guided me last time, but this was how passionate senior Toastmasters were with me. So to answer to your question, that's how I believe a leader should do, be passionate and dedicated enough so that you can help others to escalate their role as members of Toastmasters. Thank you very much.
Okay. We got to remember that Toastmasters is a volunteer organization, and being a district officer is a low-paying job. We had a situation where our number 3, our club growth director, went to Vancouver, got trained, and she got sick. In September, the deadline was we had to appoint a new club growth director. The district director appointed this guy, Dean, who really didn't want to be club growth director, but he didn't want to hurt her feelings. His wife did not want him to be club growth director, but he didn't want to hurt their feelings. So he accepted the job. He became club growth director, and he still hasn't started one club yet, but he took the job because he didn't want to hurt somebody's feelings. Keep in mind, family is important. His wife, all year, got mad at him and told him, you better not accept that position. But he did. And now he can't wait for the term. But it didn't do the district any good because we had a club growth director that was only doing it so that he wouldn't hurt the feeling of the district director. So when you look for district officers, keep in mind their family, their job, and everything has to be in place first before they take them as district officer. And on another note, the only reason I'm here, and I see the Facebook man is still here, I need more Facebook friends. I only got 3,000 and I need 5,000. So I'm looking for more Malaysian Facebook friends. Thank you very much.
And we are very grateful to have an international visitor, Greg Chin,